You think charisma is something you're born with? Olivia Fox Cabane proved you only need 30 minutes to unleash your natural magnetism. But here's what's destroying you. You've been performing a pathetic parody of confidence while your real charisma suffocates beneath layers of social programming. You vanish precisely where you try to appear. You walk into rooms and disappear. You speak, and nobody remembers. They forget you mid-sentence. You exist in a state of perpetual invisibility, wondering why some people command attention while you fade into the void, or as Roger Dawson observes, charisma is the intangible that makes people want to follow you, to be around you, to be influenced by you. You drown in ankle-deep conversations. You rehearse invisibility until it performs you. Every meeting becomes another reminder of your social inadequacy. You've convinced yourself that charisma belongs to the naturally gifted, the extroverts, the born leaders. Wrong. Dead wrong. Cabane discovered something that should terrify you. Your lack of charisma isn't genetic. It's a choice you make every single day. Or as Olivia Fox Cabane explains, in controlled laboratory experiments, researchers were able to raise and lower people's levels of charisma as if they were turning a dial. Charisma has been turned into an applied science. Before we dive deeper into this psychological prison you've built, hit that subscribe and like button. Because what I'm about to reveal will either transform your presence forever or leave you exactly where you are, invisible, forgettable, irrelevant. How many times have you rehearsed conversations in your head only to watch them crash and burn in reality? How many times have you left social situations feeling drained, defeated, wondering why connection feels impossible? You're not alone in this suffocation. Millions walk through life wearing masks of false confidence while dying inside from social starvation. The surface problem seems obvious. You lack social confidence. You stumble over words. You avoid eye contact. You shrink in the presence of naturally charismatic people. Your smallness has become your only reliable identity. But that's not the actual issue. That's just the symptom of something far worse. The genuine problem? You've been programmed to suppress your authentic magnetic personality. From childhood, you learned that standing out meant risk, that commanding attention invited criticism, that being memorable made you a target. So you chose invisibility. You chose safety. You chose social death. Think about your last important conversation. Did you feel present, powerful, engaged? Or were you performing, desperately trying to say the right things, make the right expressions, project the right image? That performance is killing your charisma. It's creating a barrier between your true self and the world. Olivia Fox Cabane spent years studying the most charismatic people on Earth. CEOs who could walk into hostile boardrooms and turn enemies into allies. Politicians who could connect with millions through a television screen. Leaders who could inspire devotion with a single conversation. What she found contradicts everything you believe about charisma. As she put it, multiple concurring studies indicate that charismatic people receive higher performance ratings and are viewed as more effective by their superiors and subordinates. These people weren't performing. They weren't faking confidence. They weren't using tricks or techniques. They had unlocked something fundamental: the ability to be completely present, completely authentic, completely powerful at any moment. And here's the part that should shake you. They learned this. They weren't born with it. They discovered how to unleash what was always there. You carry this same potential. Right now, buried beneath years of social conditioning, fear, and self-protection. But instead of accessing it, you're trapped in patterns that guarantee invisibility. You arrive pre-rejected to save them the trouble. You enter conversations already defeated, You approach people expecting rejection. You speak from a place of apology rather than authority. How many opportunities have you watched slip away because you couldn't command the room? How many connections never formed because your presence felt weak, uncertain, forgettable? You bring your absence everywhere you go. This isn't about introversion or extroversion. This isn't about personality type. This is about the fundamental energy you bring to human interaction. Or in the words of Fox Cabane, whether you're applying for a new job or want to advance within your organization, charisma will help you achieve your goal. The power of charisma is equally valuable outside of the business environment. It's useful for the stay-at-home mom who needs to influence her children, their teachers, or other community members. It can be an invaluable tool for high school students who'd like to ace their college interviews or are running for leadership roles in student organizations. It can help individuals become more popular with their peers and feel more confident in social situations. The most painful part? You know something's wrong. You feel the difference of opinion between who you are inside and how you show up in the world. You sense the power within you, but can't access it. You watch others effortlessly draw people in while you struggle to maintain basic conversation. This gap between potential and reality, it's eating you alive. You're the only locked door you can't stop entering. Every failed interaction reinforces the belief that you're fundamentally lacking. That charisma belongs to others, and never to you. That your fate is to remain on the periphery, watching life happen to other people. This belief system becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you believe it, the more invisible you become. But Cabane's research revealed something revolutionary. Charisma isn't a trait, it's a state. We can access, cultivate, and master states. The 30 minutes I have used to compile her theory, it's not about learning techniques, it's about breaking through the barriers you've built against your own power. Aristotle called it ethos, the fundamental character that radiates from a person's being. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the power of presence to shape reality. Throughout history, philosophers and leaders understood what we refuse to see. Charisma isn't about what you do, it's about what you are at any moment. Olivia Fox Cabane didn't invent these principles. She uncovered what ancient wisdom always knew, but modern society buried under layers of performance anxiety and social media facades. The Greeks understood that true personal magnetism came from alignment. Misaligned, you repel even yourself. When your inner state matched your outer expression, you become irresistible. But we've lost this understanding. We've replaced authentic presence with calculated performance. We've substituted genuine connection for networking strategies. We've chosen the safety of scripts over the risk of proper engagement. And in doing so, we've murdered our natural charisma. Think about the last time you felt truly powerful in a conversation. Not confident, powerful. When your words carried weight. When your presence commanded attention without effort. When connection flowed naturally, effortlessly, inevitably. That wasn't luck. That was you accessing your authentic state of charismatic presence. The ancients knew something we've forgotten. Charisma emerges from complete presence. When you're fully here, fully engaged, fully yourself, you become magnetic. Not because you're performing the right behaviors, but because you're channeling pure, undiluted life force. Cabane discovered that the most charismatic people share 3 qualities: presence, power, and warmth. But here's what she didn't emphasize enough. These aren't skills you develop. They're aspects of your being you uncover. They're already there, waiting beneath the debris of social conditioning. From lab experiments to neuroimaging, research has consistently shown that power and warmth are the two dimensions we evaluate first and foremost in assessing other people. Power and intentions are what we're aiming to assess. Could you move mountains for me? And would you care to do so? To answer the first question, we try to assess how much power he or she has. To answer the second question, we try to assess how much he or she likes us, says Olivia Fox Cabane. The Stoics understood this at a visceral level. They knew that attempting to control others' perceptions was not only futile, but self-defeating. True power came from absolute ownership of your inner state. When you stop performing and start being, charisma emerges naturally, inevitably, powerfully. But modern life trains us for the opposite. We're taught to manage impressions, craft personas, project images. We exhaust ourselves by maintaining facades, while our real power atrophies from neglect. We wonder why connection feels so hard, why influence seems so elusive, why presence feels so foreign. Look at yourself right now, not in a mirror, but to ponder profoundly. When did you start believing you weren't enough? When did you decide that your natural state required improvement, modification, suppression? When did you begin the lifelong project of becoming acceptable rather than powerful? You've spent years perfecting the art of invisibility, mastering the skill of not disturbing anyone, becoming an expert at taking up as little space as possible. And now you wonder why charisma feels impossible. You've trained yourself for the opposite of magnetic presence. Here's the binary truth you must face. Either you're expressing your authentic power, or you're performing a pale imitation of life. There's no middle ground. Every interaction is a choice. Show up fully, or hide behind another mask. Command your space or apologize for existing. Be memorable or remain invisible. Think about how you enter a room. Do you own your entrance, claiming your right to be there? Or do you slip in hoping nobody notices, already preparing your exit strategy? Your body knows the truth even if your mind denies it. Your energy announces your decision before you speak a single word. Or, in the words of Olivia Fox Cabane, we look for clues of power in someone's appearance, in others' reaction to this person, and most of all, in the person's body language. Because body language is wired so deeply within us, signs of confidence, or lack thereof, in someone's body language have veto power over all other signs of power. No matter how many signs of power and high status we may project through our appearance, title, or even through others' deference, a body language of insecurity will kill charisma on the spot. On the other hand, a body language of confidence can endow its bearer with charisma even when no other power signs are present. How many times today did you censor yourself? How many thoughts went unexpressed because you feared judgment? How many moments of potential connection did you abort because vulnerability felt too dangerous? Each suppression weakens your magnetic personality. Each moment of hiding dims your natural light. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That feeling when you're about to say something real, something true, something powerful, and you stop. You choose the safe response, the acceptable opinion, the comfortable lie. And another piece of your charisma dies. The most devastating part? You've become comfortable in this prison. Invisibility feels safe. Mediocrity feels manageable. Social death feels preferable to the risk of being seen, known, remembered. You've made peace with a half-life. Convincing yourself half-dead feels whole when dying is your talent. Convincing yourself it's enough. But your body rebels against this suppression. You feel it in the exhaustion after social events, the anxiety before important conversations, the deep knowing that you're capable of so much more. Your authentic self screams for expression while you desperately try to keep it contained. Tell me honestly, when was the last time you felt fully alive in a conversation? When did you last lose yourself in connection, forgetting to perform, forgetting to manage impressions, forgetting everything except the electric current of real human engagement? That's your natural state. Everything else is learned dysfunction. You thought reading body language books would give you charisma. It didn't. You thought communication workshops would unlock your magnetism. They didn't. You thought practicing power poses in the bathroom would transform your presence. It didn't. Here's why these surface solutions failed. They addressed symptoms while ignoring the disease. You can't rehearse your way out of self-betrayal. Hit that subscribe and like button right now, because I'm about to demolish every comfortable lie you've told yourself about why you can't access your natural charisma. The self-help industry sold you techniques when you needed transformation. They gave you script when you needed authenticity. They taught you to perform better instead of helping you stop performing altogether. And you bought it because it felt safer than facing the actual issue, your fundamental disconnection from your own power. Every technique you've learned added another layer between you and authentic expression. Every strategy increased the gap between who you are and how you show up. You became a walking collection of tips and tricks with no center, no core, no genuine presence. This 30-minute method isn't about adding something new. It's about stripping away everything false. It's about returning to your natural state before fear taught you to hide. It's about reclaiming the charisma that was always yours. The actual path requires 3 brutal steps. First, complete presence. Not the mental gymnastics you call attention, but total embodiment in this moment. Presence arrives when you stop performing attendance. When you're here, fully here, your entire energy field changes. People feel it before you speak. They're drawn to the rare experience of someone actually present, or, as Olivia Fox Cabane describes, being charismatic does not depend on how much time you have, but on how fully present you are in each interaction. The ability to be fully present makes you stand out from the crowd. It makes you memorable. When you're fully present, even a 5-minute conversation can create a wow effect, as well as an emotional connection. The people you're with feel that they have your full attention and that they are the most important thing in the world to you at that moment. If you're not fully present in an interaction, there's a good chance that your eyes will glaze over, or that your facial reactions will be a split-second delayed. Since the human mind can read facial expressions in as little as 17 milliseconds, the person you're speaking with will likely notice even the tiniest delays in your reactions. We may think that we can fake presence. We may think that we can fake listening. We believe that as long as we seem attentive, it's okay to let our brains churn on other things. But we're wrong. When we're not fully present in an interaction, people will see it. Second, accessing your genuine power, not dominance or aggression, but the quiet certainty of someone who knows their worth. This isn't about becoming louder or more assertive. It's about stopping the constant apologies for your existence. It's about taking up the space that's rightfully yours. As Olivia Fox Cabane observes, this kind of high-status, high-confidence body language is characterized by how few movements are made. Can you imagine James Bond fidgeting? How about tugging at his clothing, bobbing his head, or twitching his shoulders? Of course not. Bond is the quintessential cool, calm, and collected character. He epitomizes confidence. Third, allowing authentic warmth, not the calculated friendliness you've been performing, but the natural human connection that emerges when you drop your armor. Genuine warmth can't be faked. It flows from genuine interest in others, which only happens when you're not consumed by managing your own image, or, as Dale Carnegie describes in How to Win Friends and Influence People, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming truly interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. Or, as Olivia Fox Cabane wrote, don't try to impress people. Let them impress you, and they will love you for it. Believe it or not, you don't need to sound smart. You just need to make them feel smart. Or, as Dan Reiland asserts, how can you have charisma? Be more concerned about making others feel good about themselves than you are making them feel good about you. These aren't techniques to practice. They're states to inhabit. The difference is everything. Techniques require effort, create distance, feel fake. States emerge naturally when you remove the barriers. Olivia Fox Cabane understood this distinction, even if she sometimes taught it as a method rather than a mindset. This technique, which is often called mirroring or mimicking, is the conscious application of something that many charismatic people do instinctively. During your next few conversations, try to mirror the other person's overall posture. The way they hold their head, how they place their feet, the shifts in their weight. If they move their left hand, move your right hand. Because people focus primarily on themselves while interacting, they usually won't notice that you're mirroring unless you are exceedingly obvious about it. The path is excruciating because it requires surrendering control. You must stop managing how others perceive you. Stop crafting your image. Stop performing confidence. Start being. Start trusting that your authentic self is not only enough, it's magnetic. You stand at a crossroads. Continue the exhausting performance that's kept you invisible, safe, forgotten. Or take 30 minutes to strip away the facades and unleash your charisma. There's no comfortable middle path, no gradual transition. You either commit to authenticity or remain trapped in performance. The choice seems obvious, but most will choose familiar suffering over uncertain transformation. Most will return to their scripts, their techniques, their comfortable invisibility. Because being seen, really seen, terrifies them more than a lifetime of social death. But you're listening to this for a reason. Some part of you know that magnetic presence is your birthright. That charisma isn't something you develop, it's something you uncover. That the power you've been seeking outside yourself has been waiting within all along. Cabane proved that transformation happens quickly when you stop adding and start subtracting. When you stop learning new tricks and start unlearning old fears. When you stop trying to become charismatic and start allowing your natural magnetism to emerge. The world doesn't need another performer. It needs your authentic presence, your unique energy, your unfiltered truth. But accessing this requires courage most people never summon. It requires walking into uncertainty without your masks, meeting others without your scripts, existing without apology. Every moment offers this choice. Every interaction presents this opportunity. Every conversation becomes a chance to practice an authentic presence or retreat into familiar performance. The accumulation of these choices determines whether you remain invisible or become unforgettable. Your charisma isn't missing. It's buried, waiting beneath layers of fear, programming, and protective patterns. 30 minutes of honest excavation could change everything, but only if you're willing to face what you find. Only if you're ready to release what's been holding you captive. Drop a comment below sharing the exact moment you realized you've been hiding your true charisma. When did you first choose invisibility over authentic power? Because recognizing this moment is the first step toward reclaiming your magnetic presence. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to stop performing and start commanding the room. The next video will reveal the specific internal shifts that separate the truly charismatic from those still trapped in performance. But here's your final warning. Once you unleash your charisma, there's no going back to comfortable invisibility. Once people experience your authentic presence, they'll expect it always. Once you taste genuine connection, surface interactions become unbearable. Once you access your natural magnetism, performing confidence feels like death. The question isn't whether you can develop charisma. Olivia Fox Cabane already proved you can. The question is whether you'll choose the discomfort of authenticity over the familiar pain of invisibility. Whether you'll take those 30 minutes to strip away everything false. Whether you're finally ready to be seen, known, remembered. Your charisma waits beneath the rubble of social conditioning. Your magnetism pulses below the surface of performed confidence. Your presence yearns for expression beyond the prison of acceptability. The tools exist, the path is clear. The only variable is your willingness to walk it. Stop pretending you need more information. Stop believing you need more techniques. Stop waiting for permission to be powerful. Everything you need already exists within you. Cabane simply gave you the map. Now comes the journey only you can take. What happens when you finally unleash your charisma? You'll find out in the next video. But only if you're brave enough to begin the excavation. Only if you're ready to meet who you really are beneath the performance. Only if you're willing to exchange comfortable invisibility for dangerous magnetism.